Hello, guys.
There he is.
There you are. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, what's going on? Sorry, it took me a few extra minutes to hop in.
No worries.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, right on. Cool. So, hey, guys, I am Ryan. I work for STEM Audio. Thank you so much to Meteorite team. We've already been doing some work with one of the teams, and look to do some work with more of you guys. Just to give you a brief, overview of who we are, what we do. We sell video conferencing equipment for conference rooms, training rooms, draft rooms, and we have 3 audio products. We have a wall unit with 15 microphones, speakers, subwoofers. We have a table unit, which you see here in the first third of this room, with 9 microphones and a downward facing speaker. And then if you look up right behind the light fixture here, we do have our ceiling unit with 100 microphones. This room right here is an 18 by 30. I wanted to meet with you guys in this room just so you can kind of see it's not like a terribly large space, but this is not a small room by any means. Big table in the center seating 16 people. This room could fit about 30 pre-COVID. And I actually have all 3 of our audio devices working in unison together. What makes this so special is you guys are probably familiar with utilizing like conference phones with extender mics, and it works until it doesn't work in terms of you're in too much of a larger space, or especially with everyone being distant. I'm guessing you guys have been doing some meetings in larger areas. And so the coolest part about STEM Audio is all of these devices can be mixed and matched into any configuration that you need. So this room, while right now it's the wall unit, ceiling unit, table unit, this could be 2 ceilings, this could be 3 tables, this could be 2 wall units. And if the room was twice as big, we could be looking at 3 ceilings, 2 walls, and a table in any type of configuration, whatever it is you guys need. And kind of how it all works is these are networkable devices. And so all of these devices are on our network. We could have also created a localized network that's not touching our network, so you can do this either way. But how this is set up is we have one active port going back to our server room. Off that active port, we have an 8-port PoE Plus switch behind a big giant interactive display that we have in here. That PoE Plus switch is there's just single cat cables from the ceiling, single cat cables to the control here, single cat cable from the table, the wall, as well as our hub device, which I'll get to in a second, are all connected to that switch. So that's how the units are getting power and how they're all communicating with one another. So they communicate over the network. I mentioned the hub. The hub in this instance is the unifier when there's more than one unit in a room. All these units on an individual level are very intelligent, meaning that they have DSP chips in them. So they're doing echo canceling, noise cancellation, automatic gain control. That automatic gain control is what you're experiencing, where regardless of where I go in the room, I sound the same level. And also beam forming, all that type of stuff. And so the hub is what mixes the individual mixes together. And then in this instance, the hub is connected via USB to a dedicated computer. So that could be connected to a PC like that, or a bring your own device system. Either way, we can connect to it. And that hub is connected USB. And then at the end of the day, when you open up Zoom or Teams or whatever platform it is that you guys use, this just becomes one big giant conference phone in that sense, where you just hop on. Right now I just choose STEM Hub for microphone and speaker. We have an Avercam 520 in here. I choose that for the camera, and that is the video conferencing solution. And so that is really like high level, 30,000 foot overview. I would love to be able to take some deeper dives with you guys in the future if we wanted to set up some other meetings. But I think as of that, I think that's all I have for the 30,000 foot overview. Anything you guys want to add, Meteorite team?
Well, how about we talked about the Meteorite Kit.
Yes.
For if you, all of a sudden you get moved sideways, something that you could put together quickly. Can you touch on that with them?
Yes, absolutely. And so the big thing that, Betsy reached out and we were talking, kind of right in the middle of everything happening in 2020. And we talked about having kind of like an on-the-road kit that would involve 3 of these table units. And it would also involve like a PoE switch. It involved a little router. It involved everything you would need to basically set up a room really, really quick. If you had to be in a banquet hall of a hotel and you put a bunch of tables out in a U shape, each of these units can cover about, in terms of microphone and speaker, it can cover about 20, 25 feet. So 3 of these units could be placed strategically in that extremely large space and be able to do a meeting with everyone being distanced. And then also you could end up just doing 2 of those or just 1 in certain instances. But to have this road case that would have these in it to where at a moment's notice, you could set everything up, plug in USB to someone's laptop and have a meeting. And so that was what initially got us talking. And then it just starts to bring up, we've actually done some work with some other professional teams on a different sport. Indiana Pacers, we did their draft room. That was new news to me. So that's like super cool. And, we end up, doing more of their conference rooms and whatnot. And so it kind of started with this road case, but it also could make sense for, other areas in your guys' buildings. And so.
Oh, yeah. So just for the travel case, I mean, it could accommodate up to, well, it's just because of the switch. We did an 8-port, right? So it comes with 3, but you could add 5 more table mics and it has the hub. So you could really cover quite a bit of ground.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And for you guys who kind of are familiar with AV and IT, which most of you are, just a little brief history on us. We have a sister company, Phoenix Audio Technologies. It's been around since 2004. So we are by no means new to doing USB audio for conference rooms. But we put together this new idea, back 3.5 years ago. We were like, what do we want to do next? And there's all these all-in-ones. We were like, should we do an all-in-one? Should we, have a new tabletop unit that has 6 better dBs or whatever? And we decided to say, no, let's not do what everyone else is doing. Let's come out with something different. And through our research and development, STEM started to take shape, and it was so much different than any other product line that we ever came out with, that we decided to go with creating a new company. And if I could tell you about STEM in just kind of like one sentence, is most of you are probably familiar with Sonos speakers. In terms of home speakers, most people are. Who knew that the speaker industry needed a revolution? But when Sonos came out, that's exactly what it did. And where we are similar to Sonos is that modular approach, where, just like in Sonos, you could have 2 people with completely different size houses and different aesthetics, and they're using those building blocks in different ways, but they both still have Sonos systems. So we wanted to do the same thing with our products for the conference room. And we got our first manufacturing run at the end of February last year. So we've been now selling product for a year, coincided with the global pandemic, perfect timing. And it ended up being our best year ×4. And at the end of the year we ended up getting acquired by Shure Microphones. So I'm guessing you all are familiar with Shure. It's the most trusted microphone brand in the last 100 years. And so we are a Shure company. But our approach is different than Shure's Microflex, MXA, ceiling and, table and wall type units. But we are similar in to the flexibility that we give to you. And so, with kind of saying that, I wanted to kind of, usually that ends up being a little bit of a stamp of approval, if you will. I want to make sure you guys kind of understand it. I mean, I'm super curious as to like what some of you guys are using currently. Is it working for you? All that type of stuff. But
so we do have a competitor similar wall model. The dimensions escape me. What we really, the frustration we found, and it was not until we kind of packed more people in the room than I kind of anticipated this past week and a half. But it was great. We have the U-shaped table, very similar like dimensions than what you just put out. The audio is phenomenal for everybody on the one side of the U, and for most of the people sitting at the bottom of the U. The issue that we got when we filled that room with people is that naturally the papers are going to shuffle, right? And while papers are shuffling, the people on the other side of the U were talking. My fear is that because it's skinnier, it's longer than it is wide where that U is. If I had put 2 wall speakers up there, I would still have that kind of overlap or that middle ground where my most important speakers are at that bottom of the U. Just kind of want to throw that out as a use case as far as a wall solution. Also kind of considering like the table mount in Betsy's setup, I feel like that too, you're going to have the same potential problems where U-shaped tables and people shuffling and going through stuff. You're just going to pick up a lot of natural stuff. I'm just going to want to pose that as an issue that we've seen, and just trying to wrap our head around. Listen, like I was the one that said it was a problem. Not any of my gallery audience people, of the 25 people that were there, said, "Man, we really had a tough time the whole time hearing," but just something of note.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, that is like etiquette, lack of etiquette. That all happens always. And while,
that's definitely football coaches, is lack of etiquette. I think we can all attest to.
Oh, 100%. And look, like DSPs, regardless of, our system, other systems, there's only a certain magic bullet, right? Like right now, if I had an HVAC system that was going off like crazy, but it had a consistent, sound, we cancel that out. We do a really, really good job on focusing on human voice, but obviously there's to a point, if I were to, I don't even have anything, but if I was to start typing and I'm right by this table unit, there possibly could be some bleed over. I don't even know how that sounded or not. But we do a really great job at that noise canceling, but I would never say to you that, someone you'll never hear, rustling papers again, if that makes sense.
Again, the same conversation we had with how much was the D10, and when you look at the stuff in a box, all of it, when we hear 3,000 for microphone speakers, a lot of us are not thinking in that budget standpoint, right? We're thinking $200 webcam and the desktop microphone, and just to educate our group, because again, we're getting away from video and we're becoming more conference room solutions. That's the right price point, no matter the brand name on the deal. So, and really when we consider what being able to not only that's where I'm painted into a corner. If I wanted to add a piece to the room that I already incorporated, it's very much 2 sound bars. That company does not have other options. Where we're looking at the STEM audio solution here, and it is all 3 of their products, but they're all incorporated as one microphone speaker output, and the processing is happening on the back end. And that's what's cool about this. You can mix and match depending on what your room needs are for the group, and at the right price and cheaper price than other companies out there.
I was going to say, Michael, thank you so much. I'm going to send you a STEM audio shirt, because I was like, that was a great pitch. You hit the nail right on the head. And the truth is for rooms this size, and this is where 2020 has got us, where everyone needs this more and more, but there is kind of the lack of understanding of like this room with a more traditional system, let's say our parent company, right? Like a Shure MXA910 and a third-party DSP mixer that requires special programming. All of a sudden, this room becomes $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, where you can accomplish the same goal for under 10 for the most expensive system with STEM audio, and $2,000 if you wanted to just go with some table units. And it is that idea of like kind of expanding. Like you could have. If you wanted to start with like, hey, let's put a wall unit in there. It's not enough coverage. Let's throw another wall unit in the back, or let's throw a ceiling unit or a table unit. You can easily add on. And so it's just, you hit the nail right on the head in terms of, if this is the future, it's going to continue to be happening. And, the decision we made was to keep our price point at a certain level, and also give you that level of quality that you're used to when you have larger room systems, but at a fraction of the price. And our stuff's only going to get better, and within the next month or so, we're going to be releasing STEM speaker, which will be a PoE speaker. So that also will be something where you don't have to worry about, 70 volt systems or, amplifiers and all that type of stuff. It'll just be speakers you can add to any room to kind of get additional output from the far end. So keep that in mind, guys.
Yeah, and another thing again for counterparts is as we look and see that middle speaker that they have in the ceiling, like that, the reason why that works for a video conferencing solution in the draft room is because they still have speakers in the draft room that they could listen to player interviews, and whatever other computer source that they would be still have done in years past. The in-room draft room experience is still what those people expect to hear. But now that we're not flying the road scouts back into California to conduct the cross-check meetings right now, and our coaches are listening in on the cross-check meetings while they're still doing whatever work in their office or at home in some cases, and our coaches in Colorado right now, we're way too accustomed to the video conferencing solution. So we're not getting away from having to try to integrate these pieces into what were just football position classroom meeting rooms before a year ago. So it was, but even I walked up there and we've been meeting in the draft room. There's been a couple of users up there who have been up there for days and weeks. And when they were trying to figure out how to raise the volume on the speaker, and when we said, no, the volume was just coming out of that one thing, and that's where the microphone is on the wall, they still aren't, it's a coach, it's a scout user who's trying to wrap their head around how they're interacting with everybody from the outside. So it's not intuitive quite yet, but there is that need for that's the speaker, microphone, and the ceiling, and we still want to be able to hear the audio in the room.
Yep. Yeah, I can easily, and that's the cool part too. Existing sound systems that are already there, we just tether that stuff into it, and it becomes super, super easy. So, but yeah. The cool part is, it's like I could right now, I can take units out, let's see, even do something like that here. Like I can easily remove, so let me just remove the ceiling and the table. I'm unpairing that. And now I am just on a wall unit. So that's something that's kind of cool. It's like, this gives you an idea of this is just one wall unit in a 30-foot room, and this is me 30 feet away from the wall, just one wall unit. And so it's that idea of, will one wall unit work in a room this size? Yes. Will it work with a packed house? No. That's why it'll be better to, have multiple units in this room. 2 units is probably the sweet spot, but this is the idea of kind of that modular approach where, a smaller room, one wall unit was great. Then let's bring in the ceiling. And this is a really great configuration where you should start to hear me a little bit more robust. I could even turn down the microphone sensitivity a little bit in Zoom. But this is a situation with now 2 devices in a room. And so it's just that ease of use, really, really, really easy to maneuver and configure. And so, and also on top of that, we have a customer happiness team, which basically their purpose is to make our customers happy. They do exactly what their title is. And so any issues, this is AV, this is IT. So any call of like, hey, this is what's happening, you know, someone went in there and something's happening with the computer or whatever, they're always available to assist. And so that's something else to know as well. So, but I think other than that, I don't know if I got anything else to share with them, guys.
Any other questions?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions to ask Ryan.
Well, we're gonna bring in a demo kit.
Mhm.
So anyone who wants to take a look, it'll be the one that's on the back of our, we sell all the configurations, but this will be 3 tabletop speaker full kit in a box, in a portable hard system case. So anybody who wants to take a look, let us know.
Perfect. All right, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks so
Ryan.
much,
Thanks,
Ryan.
Ryan.